Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're tackling a piece of mail that literally strikes fear into the hearts of residents everywhere. Yep, we're talking about the San Diego jury duty summons. We're going to navigate this surprisingly tricky bureaucratic maze of checking your status online together. I mean, just imagine this scenario for a second. You're finally going through that massive stack of mail you've ignored for weeks, or maybe you just got back home after a long trip and boom, there it is, a jury summons from 2 months ago. The sheer panic instantly sets in, right? You're probably wondering, am I in trouble? Are the cops literally on their way to my house right now? And if you jump online looking for answers, you are going to find a lot of, well, let's just call it creative advice. Take this absolute gem from a San Diego Reddit user. Believe it or not, straight to jail. Now, obviously, they're joking around, but it really hits the nail on the head regarding all those wild, totally contradictory rumors floating around online. Some folks swear they've shredded their summons for decades with zero consequences, while others insist you're going to get slapped with a bench warrant immediately. Okay, let's dive into this roadmap to keep you fully compliant and totally stress-free. We're looking at the call to civic duty, state versus federal systems, checking your status online, solving common login issues, phone checks and standby, and finally, the actual real risks of skipping. All right, Section 1, the call to civic duty. Before we get completely lost in the portal logins, let's take a quick second to talk about why this actually matters. I know. It feels like a massive hassle when that postcard shows up, but trial by a jury of your peers is a fundamental constitutional privilege, and it relies entirely on everyday citizens participating. To serve, you just have to be a citizen, speak English, and have no prior felony convictions. The thing is, when people just skip out, it seriously limits demographic participation across the justice system, and that can actually open the door to systemic issues and implicit bias in verdicts. So staying on top of this, it's not just about dodging a fine. It is a vital civic responsibility. Moving on to Section 2, state versus federal systems. Okay, so this right here is honestly the biggest hurdle that trips up San Diego residents. You aren't just dealing with the court. You're dealing with two completely separate court systems, and it all depends on exactly which piece of mail you got. On the state side, the Superior Court uses a portal at sdcourt.ca.gov, and they ask for a badge number. But on the federal side, the District Court uses the National E-Juror portal, which requires a totally different 9-digit participant number. Get this, they even update at completely different times of the day. So figuring out which specific summons you're actually holding is absolutely step 1. Which brings us to Section 3, checking your status online. We're going to start with the State Superior Court, since that's where the vast majority of you are going to be called. So here is your mini mission. Grab your summons postcard and check out the left perforation. Right next to the barcode, you're going to find your badge number. Got it? Okay, step 2. Go ahead and navigate to sdcourt.ca.gov/service. Or honestly, you can just scan the QR code right there on the card with your phone. Step 3, pop in that badge number along with your 5-digit zip code. Once you're in, you can fill out your questionnaire, ask for a postponement if you need one, or just check your daily reporting status. Easy enough, right? But if you got a federal summons, the whole game changes. Step 1 for this system, track down your 9-digit participant number. You don't usually spot this right on the front of the summons, just above the map. Step 2, head over to the Federal E-Juror portal at kasd.uscourts.gov. Now for Step 3, logging in is a bit more involved here. You don't just need that ID. You also have to type in the first 3 letters of your last name, exactly as it's spelled on the questionnaire, plus your 4-digit birth year. Once you make it inside, just click Current Status on that left menu. Okay, please pay very close attention to the timing here. You have to check your status daily during your service period, but logging in at, say, noon won't help you at all. For the state system, you absolutely must check after 5 p.m. And for the federal system, it's after 6 p.m. If you log in too early, you just aren't going to see the updated instructions for the next day. Best case scenario, you show up when you didn't even need to. Worst case, you totally miss your required reporting time. Let's jump to Section 4, solving common login issues. We have all been there. You sit down to log in and you realize you completely lost the postcard, or you just cannot find your group number anywhere. And to make matters worse, there is no simple little forgot password button on these government sites. It's incredibly frustrating. So the most crucial thing to remember is, do not panic if you lose your card. If you need your state badge number, just call 619-844-2800 for the central office or 760-201-8700 for North County. If you're dealing with federal court, you want to dial 800-998-9035. You'll need to call those during regular business hours to get a real human clerk who can recover your details. Oh, and if you are a state juror assigned to the central courthouse, you actually have the option to just walk right into the jury office Monday through Thursday, and they'll print you a replacement right there. Next up, Section 5, phone checks and standby. Sometimes when you check the online portal or the automated phone line, if you go that route, it'll tell you that you don't need to actually go into the courthouse the next day, but that you're officially on standby. You really need to know how to manage your schedule based on which court you're dealing with. For state court, a standby period is 5 consecutive business days. You just keep checking in every single evening. But the federal court, totally different beast. You could be on a term of availability for up to 2 whole weeks. So here's a huge pro tip for managing your obligations. The second you get your summons, set a recurring calendar alarm on your phone for 6:15 p.m. That way you'll never forget to check your status, and you can give your employer a proper heads up about your availability.
Finally, Section 6, the real risks of skipping.
Okay, let's separate the internet myths from actual, concrete legal reality. Ask around online and you'll see comments exactly like this one. There's no tracking or enforcement mechanism. No one cares. You'll hear from plenty of people claiming they've tossed their summons in the trash for their entire lives without a single consequence, basically banking on the fact that these are sent through regular, uncertified mail. And yeah, it is true that court administration is often way too stretched thin to hunt down every single no-show, but relying on that is a massive gamble, because the actual written law says something entirely different. Now, what's really interesting about this is the absolute stark contrast to those Reddit rumors. $1,500. That is the maximum statutory fine for contempt of court in the state system if you just fail to appear and the judge decides they want to hold you accountable. Let's break down the full statutory reality here. Under California Code of Civil Procedures Section 209, skipping out on your state service can result in up to a $1,500 fine and up to 5 days of jail time. Over in federal court, under Title 28 of the U.S. Code, failing to show good cause for ignoring them can mean a $1,000 fine, up to 3 days in prison, or mandatory community service. And you should know, the federal courts maintain much stricter compliance monitoring than the state does. The bottom line here? Ignoring a summons carries very serious, lingering legal liability. It just honestly isn't worth the risk. Which brings us to a very important professional disclaimer. The information presented in this explainer is based on available resources as of August 5th, 2026. Always refer to the official San Diego County Superior Court website or consult legal professionals for the most current and accurate information regarding your jury duty obligations.
All right, so we've walked through the different courts, the online portals, exactly how to recover those lost IDs, and the very real risks of tossing that mail in the trash. Checking your status online is actually designed to be pretty straightforward once you realize exactly which system you're navigating. Please share this explainer with anyone you know who might be scratching their head over a recent summons. So now that you know the rules, the logins, and the reality of the whole process, will you be ready when your civic duty calls?